My name is Dhiruben Patel, but I am usually known as Dhiruben Patel. My mother, Gangaben Patel, was a freedom fighter and a social worker, and our family had a misfortune in the year 1944 when my eldest brother met with a drowning accident, and my mother witnessed the tragic incident from the shore. She was very badly shaken up, so was the whole family. So after a few months, Mr. Chagalal Yogi suggested that she should come to Sri Ramanashram. And when my mother Gangaben Patel came to Ramanashram, when she came here and she saw Bhagwan for the first time, she was so much impressed that she came back and she wanted to take the whole family to Ramanashram. So that is how my father and myself and my sister-in-law and my mother came to Sri Ramanashram. So those were the days of the Second World War. Almost twilight when we reached the ashram. And
yes.
I was so tired and so dirty that the first thought in my mind was to go and have a wash and a drink of cold water. But my mother, she was such a dictator. She said, no, as soon as you enter the ashram, the first thing you should do is to go and have darshan of Bhagwan. I was very reluctant, but those were not the days when children could argue with their parents. So I had to agree, and I went. There was that old hall was there where Bhagwan was sitting along with one or two attendants standing nearby, and there was a small vessel in which live charcoals were there.
What was your age?
And I was 18, now I am 81, but I still remember it perfectly because that one step was there and I had to do namaskar. I did it like this. I just wanted to get it finished as soon as possible. I was not interested in Bhagwan or having his darshan. Just because I couldn't defy my mother, I had to do it. So with closed eyes, I just did like that. And when I raised my head, well, I can't find words to describe what happened to me. As soon as Bhagwan's gaze met mine, he looked at me, and in that very second it seems that I was annihilated. I didn't exist any longer, and there was a great sense of release and peace, and there was light, but not strong light, soft moonlight all around me, and no boundaries or no barriers anywhere. It was as if I was lost in a sky of light and peace. I don't know how many minutes or how many seconds, but it seemed a lifetime. And then when I came back to my material existence, I just couldn't accept what had happened. And we stayed for 5 days more. I had darshan of Bhagwan so many times, but that experience was never repeated. It happened only once, but it made me think so deeply and continuously. What was it? And how can I be in that state constantly? Well, next day we had our bath and sat in the hall along with the other devotees, and Bhagwan was there, and anybody who wanted to ask a question could ask.
Year?
It was, I think,
1945.
So I also wanted to ask 2 questions. So I wrote them in a piece of paper and handed them to the attendant. And this time also, I shall have to tell you about a nephew of mine who was only 2 years old when he came here, and Bhagwan as usual was going for the walk after lunch on the hill, and all devotees were standing in a line, and this boy also was there. Suddenly he saw Bhagwan and he ran towards him.
You all came at that time together?
Yes. And no, my mother was there. I was not there. But I was told about it. So he went and held the stick of Bhagwan so strongly he wouldn't allow him to budge. And everybody was aghast. They were trying to ask that child to go away, don't bother Bhagwan. But he didn't listen. And for a long time he went on staring at Bhagwan. And then Bhagwan put his hand on his head. At once he left the stick and he started weeping. Not loudly, but tears were streaming down his eyes. And he was just looking at Bhagwan.